Prayers for Oliva. That's one of the worst things I've seen. I really feel badly about that whenever a young person goes through that. And I told our guys, I said, you take a lot of things for granted, health. I guess I do too. But that was tough, man. And I can't imagine their locker room. That's really hard. That's one of their teammates. So, it's a good game. We've shown we're capable. We're still not a finished product by any means, but we've shown every game this year that when we get down, we got a little fight to us, which is the most important thing to me.
Keith, after last game, you said you wanted a little more pizzazz, a little more enthusiasm out of the guys. In that second half, did you see some flashes of that? Yeah, and I think the fan base was key. When there's a lot of people in the stands, or relatively speaking, right, you can really be thankful and play for the fans and play for the uniform and play for the school. And the fans were really good, really, really good. I hope we can continue to come out. And I think, my thing is I think a year from now, well, maybe not because we may not be playing in here, but when we play back in here the next time, our goal should be to be like VCU, make it that raucous and that aggressive. And it's good for the students as well because it gives them something to look forward to. So that fan base helped us win the game tonight, in my opinion. They were very loud, even the old people. The guys that watched my dad play back in the day were still coming to the game. I had a guy in Davidson say, hey, I went to school with your dad. Came to the game. So I used to rebound for him. I'm thinking, God, how old are you? You look good, though. I wish I looked that good. Questions? Is it good to see balanced scoring? 6 guys at double digits. First time that's happened this season.
I felt like we played the right way. For one of the few times this year, we finally figured out the last 10 minutes that if we throw the ball to Mike, we can shoot open shots and not have to play the hard way. I felt like we played like the most simplistic that we've played all year. And, we haven't always been able to do that, but we did tonight. And partly because Marcus made a couple threes, they couldn't double off as easily. And partly we got in better spots, right? And partly he passed the ball better, and then he scored it. And so, when we can play like that, we're much better than when we have to generate everything through the ball screen.
Mike spoke to that same effect when I asked him about, getting the ball that many times in a row. He said his teammates have confidence in him, and he has confidence in them, and vice versa. And Tavian talked about just being able to assist, I think, 14 on 29 baskets. So it looks like there has become, not even from your perspective, from their perspective also, they're starting to get just how important it is to work and share the ball together.
Well, they got it tonight. So hopefully they'll get it the next night and the next night. But look, that's kind of old school basketball. Nobody plays like that anymore, right? But that's the way I've played for the last 7 years or 8 years. That's the way I really want to play. Now, sometimes you can't play that way. Sometimes our pieces aren't great or he doesn't feel great. But eventually, if we can get him going like that and we can get Rotroff going like that and Amari going like that, then maybe we can play more consistently. And I think our margin of error improves if you can play like that. Now, instead of generating offense, you stand there and you shoot open shots and you make 13 threes. It's no coincidence. They were open, right? When you're open, you have a much better chance than when you're not.
Now, it's another double-digit comeback, and it seems like Sincere and Tavian were in the middle of another one. Those two guys together. Asked Tavian about it. Just what works for you, for those two. What have you seen from your perspective that makes that so effective?
Well, I thought both starts, we were a little lethargic. I thought the beginning of the game we were a little more energetic than the start of the second half. But I think the one thing that Tavian allows us to do is to get another ball pressure guy in the game. Even though he got beat some, they bullied him a little bit. But that extra ball pressure guy with Sincere in there creates a little more havoc and makes you a little bit better defensively. Whereas the other guys are not, like I told him at the one break, I said, all we got to do is play a little bit harder. We're letting him throw it anywhere they want to throw it. And if we do that, we're not going to win. We played a little bit harder, played a little bit better. And that, I think Tavian helps that.
Eric was 3 for 10, 1 for 6 from 3, but again, a big rebound dunk at the end, and he remained engaged and focused. How important is that when he's not having a good shooting night to have an effort like that?
Well, I thought he hung in there, which I think is a key thing. I think the thing we keep hitting everybody on is handling adversity. There's two parts. You got to handle adversity. You have to handle prosperity. And I think our team's had a little trouble at times, not all of them, but some of them, handling adversity. And he did a better job tonight. He hung in there. He did his job. And he made some big plays when it mattered.
You talked about the taking those open shots when they're there. I feel like I was a little bit hesitant earlier in the year, and is that just saying something about the confidence of this guard play?
No, I don't think we were hesitant. I just don't think we made any. I mean, we come in shooting like 31-8 or something like that. Like terrible in the league. It just goes to show you, like St. Joe's in the preseason, they shot the ball better than anybody in this league. And then they started the A-10 and they couldn't make anything. And then they start, and I knew it was coming. They start tonight's game and they make everything. Right? That's just the way things work sometimes. But ultimately you shoot to your percentage. Right? If you're a 35% three shooter or a 38% three shooter or a 41% three shooter, if you take good shots, you shoot to what you really are. And if you're a bad shooter, then those numbers won't lie.
You went with 8 guys tonight. Some of it, was it due to performance, what St. Joe's was doing? What went into that decision?
I didn't really like it, to be frank. But, you know, we played from behind, number 1, right? And then we started to play pretty good, number 2. And so I just went with what I just went that way. It was hard to get Sincere out. Like, I know Wade's a good player, and I know Lamar Norman's a good player, and I know Bizot's a good player. We just couldn't get it. It was a weird game again, and I just decided to go with the 8 guys. I don't really like it, but that's what we decided to do today.
Sincere all over the place. 12 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, a handful of steals. Is it one of those situations where you leave him in because you trust him so much, or is it just because that was the thing that was working the most with the other guys on the floor? Well,
I think if you analyze it, he's our best defender. He's our best creator. He's our best passer. He's our best ball handler. And he scores. And he's our best stealer. So it's hard to get him out. Like, now, what I talk to him about is when you're a little tired, do a little less. Try to rest. Make plays after you've rested. And try not to do as much when you're tired. Because you have to play at the other end. Like, you notice he slowed Brown down a little bit. He guarded Brown some during that stretch when we slowed him down some. So he's just got it, and then he made Eric Williams deflected it, he stole it in the press. So like he's just got a knack of making big plays. If you ever notice, like when he makes a turnover, about half the time he steals it back. He's just got a toughness level about him, and he's going to get better. I think, you know, he's got to have some things to work on still, but he's playing at a very high level for a young kid. I don't know where we'd be without him, really.
Keith, what did you say to Lebo before he would stretch it off? I noticed you.
I just said, God bless, you know, God, that's a look, I have a son that played, you know, high-level athletics, so you hate to see anybody have to go through that. That was one of the most gruesome things I've ever seen. It was hard. And that kid's a good kid, solid person, good player. You just hate to see that. And, you know, you hate that anybody has to see it, but especially his teammates and his coaches and his family. You know, just a sad deal.
Is Mike Hughes a little healthier?
I hope, because he played a lot better than he did the last damn game. And he practiced better. Again, like I keep telling these guys, look, if you think you're going to just turn that on, it's not going to happen. Good?
Yeah.